Hello my friends, it's Jana Eubank for Hip Kit Club, and today I'm going to be using the June 2023 main kits from Hip Kit Club to create a layout with this photo of my daughter at a church girls camp where they're about to go out and go snipe hunting. Now, one of the things I wanted to show you today is how you can alter the design of a pattern paper to add additional detail and interest to your layout. It's a super simple technique and it can go along with any paper that you choose. Just look for inspiration in your design. I'll show you what I mean. Now I'm going to start off by doing the background with using just the cardstocks from the cardstock kit. I'm using this white paper called Summit Snow with the tonal pattern scallops on it, and then I'm going to mat this with the Trippy Plum using the solid side. I went ahead and distressed the edges and then just used my sewing machine to straight stitch along the edge. You can see that I did gut the center of the Trippy Plum paper, and that's so that I can mat my photo with it. I also use it to die cut a scallop border later, so we'll wait to see that. Now I'm going to use this busier pattern paper, the map pattern paper called Road Trip, to also map my photo. And busier pattern papers like this can sometimes be difficult to use, but in small doses they do work great as little layers peeking out from behind other pattern layers, or like I did here as a photo mat. Just be sure to use a solid color to distinguish your photo from the busy pattern paper, and that will help it to look a lot cleaner. Now I also cut out a section of this aqua diamond pattern paper. This is called Go Wild, and you can see here how I'm going to use the design on the pattern paper to add an element or a dimensional element to my page. What I decided to use was to use a craft knife to cut along the two short sides of each of those white triangles, and then I'm scoring along the long side of that white triangle to fold those up and create little triangle shaped windows in this pattern paper. I love how when you fold up those flaps you can see the opposite side of the paper with that darling orange floral pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment here to cut all of these triangles. I don't do the ones in the center, of course, because my photo will be covering those. So I'm just taking the time to do the ones along the outer edge. Now, once I have those all scored and folded, I'm going to come back in with some thin foam squares to attach those in place so that they stay open. I don't want them to get crunched underneath this sheet protector. So the reason I am using the thin foam squares is that it adds a little bit of a shadow effect and calls attention to this cute dimensional detail that will be on the background layer of this design. So now that I have that in place, I decided that I wanted to add an additional layer of pattern paper behind that aqua diamond just to have an additional color kind of peeking through. So I decided to go with this pale blue pattern with the hand-drawn words on it called Let's Travel. This paper is adorable and would make a great background for a layout. So if you I don't know, I love pattern paper. It's my very favorite supply, so I always pick up the extra pack of pattern paper because I know that I'm going to eventually want to use both sides of each of those adorable sheets. All right, so just like I did on the background cardstocks, I also distressed and stitched around this aqua diamond layer. Now I'm ready to continue on with my design, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut one of these scallop borders using the scallop border die from June 2023. And I love this die. It's so cute. It has all of these little cut arch details in each of the bumps of the scallop. It adds a visual texture, but you can also use your fingers or a little small tool to ruffle up each of those little layers like I did there and add even more texture to your layout. So far we have those folded diamond flaps, we have the little popped up scallop border. It's turning out so cute. Now next I'm going to add my layout or my photo in place and start assembling these pieces. I decided I wanted a little more pop of color in the center, so I flipped over the scrap that I had of that map paper, and on the other side was a yellow sunshine pattern, which was super cute. So I just cut that in half and it added it behind each of the corners of my photo there, and it just adds a pop of yellow towards the center, which of course calls your attention to the photo. Now there's also some really fun fussy cutting papers in this month's kit. We have this beautiful nature lover paper with the florals, so of course I went and fussy cut all of those out, and then I did fussy cut all of the frames out from another pattern paper. Sorry, I don't have the name in front of me. I don't end up using them on this layout, but I definitely will utilize those going forward. Now here I'm just pulling in a bunch of those fussy cut flowers and just trying them out on each of the corners of my photo. The girls in the photo are wearing lots of colorful shirts, and so I decided to add one of the brighter florals up into the upper left corner of that page just to balance that out. But I do decide to put more subtle tonal flowers on the inside corner because of all the diamond cut details and because I'm going to be adding a title and other things. So I just kept those nice and pink and purple to kind of blend in with the background. So now that I know where my florals are going to go, I'm going to grab the die cuts from the main kit and pull out a few additional details. I pulled out the compass because it matches my memory. I'll tell you about that in a second. And then I pulled out 3 of the feathers. I think there is only 3 feathers in there to kind of group together like I am here. I'm just using adhesive and thin foam squares to arrange them. And then I'm going to add some white twine to the top of the feathers to make it appear as though they are tied together. I also love adding twine on a page because it just brings in an additional texture to the page. Now this photo, let me tell you about this photo real quick. This is of my daughter and her church group at girls camp, and they are just about to head out to go snipe hunting. If you're familiar with snipe hunting, it's just a silly little prank or tradition that they do at girls camp where they pretend to go catch a snipe, which doesn't exist in the United States. So that's why it's a silly tradition, is they don't really tell the girls until the end, but it can become a mean tradition. Like, that's my feelings. Like, it's not always a feel-good tradition. However, our girls are super nice about it. They're just super silly. They don't try to tease the girls. In fact, they often tell the girls that it's fake before they go out and do it, and then they just have fun, pretending to catch a snipe. They always put on makeup or toothpaste on their face, kind of as war paint, and then they grab their pillowcases to go and catch those tricky snipes. So for the title, I was going to use the Adventure Awaits words from the glitter foam stickers, but I decided to go with the Outdoor Memories because I loved that large curly Q. I just think it looks so cute next to that compass. And then to help that word stand out even more, I matted it on the Wandering Pink cardstock and then just used my scissors to fussy cut them out. Again, I put that compass to the left of the title, and then I used a ruler to add those smaller words or the smaller letters of the word memories to make sure it was nice and centered below that other word. So also in the main kit, there are these adorable patterned mini envelopes. I'm going to use one of them to add my journaling to the page. And then I sifted through the die cuts and found additional small die cuts to decorate the front of the envelope. Now, I have a little tag there and then just a couple of little smaller pieces that I'm going to add. I do go ahead and add some more crochet twine to that tag, and then I'm just going to sprinkle that little Aztec diamond and the heart to the left. I will also add in a few fussy cut teeny tiny florals from the same Nature Lover paper. Now, when you have some twine on your page and you don't want it to flop around and look weird, you want it to be positioned a certain way, you can always add a dab of glue. I'm going to do that here in just a second, and then just hold your twine into it to keep it in place. You can also use a mini stapler, but in this case where we have an envelope where we want it to actually function, I'm not going to add a staple, of course. Now, to add additional glitter detail around the page, I'm going to add these stars. Of course, it's a nighttime memory. They're about to head out into the dark to go look for these little snipes, and so these stars are a perfect accent. I initially added the circles as well, but I decided that I didn't like them, so I do pull those off and just add in a few more stars, and then I also add in a few more of those tiny fussy cut florals from the Nature Lover paper, and that works out great. So I'll go ahead and add my journaling onto a folded piece of white paper that's going to tuck into that envelope, and I will show you how that works here, and then just give you a closer look at the little tiny fussy cut florals that I added. I added 2 daisies to the left of the pattern of the paper. I added, let's see, I think I added yes, a yellow one and another daisy up by the compass. I'm pointing to those there, and a tiny daisy up towards the top. And then that completes the layout. Guys, the June kits are so much fun. Be sure to grab yours over at Hip Kit Club, and then subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can see all that we are creating. And then come join us in the Hip Kit Club Facebook group. You can share your projects and join in on challenges as well. My name is Jana Eubank for Hip Kit Club. Thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to join you again next time. See you again soon.